Good afternoon. It is 2 o'clock, and I would like to call to order the December 2nd meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. First item on the agenda is a resolution of appreciation for Craig Keith, Deputy Municipal Counselor. Madam Clerk.
Whereas Craig Keith will retire on January 2nd, 2026, with over 43 years of exemplary service and dedication to the citizens, city council members, trustees, departmental staff, and senior leadership of the city of Oklahoma City. And whereas Mr. Keith began his career with the city on May 19, 1982, as a law clerk and has steadily progressed to deputy municipal counselor in the municipal counselor's office. And whereas he also served as the municipal counselor and advisor to the Lake Atoka Reservation Association, the McGee Creek Authority, and the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. And whereas during his tenure, Mr. Keith contributed through his astute insights, attention to detail, fact-based decision-making, and consistent demonstration of continual regard for high standards. And whereas Mr. Keith has a unique ability to bring stakeholders together from across the city and provide impartial legal guidance, fostering collaboration while remaining neutral and objective. And whereas he possesses a deep expertise in procurement, construction, request for proposal, and bidding processes, and has long been a trusted resource on these matters. And whereas Mr. Keith drafted the policy changes allowing city departments to use multi-year trust contracts, improving procurement efficiency and reducing costs. And whereas in 2013, Mr. Keith was instrumental in the implementation of electronic bidding for the city and trusts by updating forms and documents and drafting the ordinance amendment authorizing electronic bids and signatures by vendors and notaries. And whereas he drafted the long-term wholesale water and wastewater agreements that expanded service to more communities, increased reliability, and allowed Aquit to spread fixed production costs across a broader base, increasing wholesale sales from less than 1% to more than 11% of total sales. And whereas Mr. Keith drafted the necessary documents for the amended trust indenture and provided essential legal guidance enabling the establishment of a utility enterprise through the trust, improving customer service and financial management. And whereas he played a key role in expanding Aquit services from providing water services exclusively to incorporating wastewater and subsequently solid waste management. And whereas his dedicated counsel has continued throughout his tenure, helping staff navigate legal challenges for the benefit of the citizens. And whereas capturing the breadth of 43 years of accomplishments, devoted service, and meaningful relationships on a single page is simply not possible. Now therefore be it resolved by the trustees of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust that they do hereby gratefully recognize the contributions of Craig Keith, thank him for over 43 years of praiseworthy service to the city of Oklahoma City, the Lake Atoka Reservation Association, the McGee Creek Authority, and the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust, and wish him a fulfilling and joyful retirement.
Very good. Do we have a motion? A second? Before we vote, do the trustees have comments?
Yeah, I have a few comments. The first one I'm kind of embarrassed to admit, but I've known Craig since probably 41 years, and we have always had a great working relationship. But the thing I want to focus on today is not how long I've known him, but what he has done for Oklahoma City. And what I mean by that is he has steered the ship for some of the most complex litigation that we have ever dealt with as to Oklahoma City and as to Oklahoma City water rights. And I promise you that because of him, my kids, my grandkids, and my great-grandkids will have adequate water, and it's all because of him. I'd like to give him a big hand.
Karen?
Go ahead, Sharon.
I would just like to add that Mr. Keith has been an absolute
joy to work with. Anytime I've had a question or a concern, he's been there to answer that question or concern and guide me as the newest member of this trust, and I appreciate him very, very much, and I'll miss him a lot.
Craig?
Yeah, I would just like to say thanks to Craig. He has referred to himself, we had this ongoing debate, he refers to himself as my evil twin. And sometimes I agree with him and sometimes I may be in that role, but I don't know, just all the great things that he's done for the city, I'm so grateful in so many ways, and it's the city as well as these trusts. And having someone that's there that you can just pick up the phone and call and you get advice and you get solid advice and it's consistent advice, but it's someone who listens to you and helps you work through the problems. It's what you need with your attorneys, and we've really had that with so many of our attorneys, but Craig has really exemplified that in the way he's lived his life. And so I'm grateful for all your service and all your work, but most of all for your friendship. So thank you for all your work.
I met Craig in 1986, and I was working for the city of Edmond at the time, and there was a wastewater treatment plant in Oklahoma City that may or may not have had an odor issue. And it affected some of the citizens of eastern Edmond, and Craig and I met the first time on that issue, which took a little while to resolve, but got resolved. Craig has done a lot of significant things. And I was trying to think back, and some of these you either don't remember or maybe never heard of. Some of them you probably have. But 5 major things come to mind to me, Craig, of major accomplishments that probably wouldn't have happened if Craig were not involved. And I think the first one goes back to 1987 when we put out bids for a single operator for the wastewater plants and saved a tremendous amount of money doing that and combined it. And that was difficult to put that contract together, and we were under a time frame to get it done by the end of the year, and that was pretty touchy, but it saved, I can't remember, $5-6 million a year, I think, back then, which was a lot of money now, it was a lot of money back then. Number 2, and maybe the most interesting, was obtaining ownership of the we called it Cow Creek back then, but the South Canadian Wastewater Treatment Plant, because it was under private ownership at the time. It was a city facility, and we were paying all the bills, but it was at the time it was owned by a gentleman that had a number of entities, but he had an engineer firm in town that had a lot of contracts with the city, and he had some political influence and cut himself a really nice deal back in the early 80s, and to untangle that was really, really hard. And then still back in the late 80s, early 90s, we were having problems getting a utility billing system to work. And we not had one, but we had 2 failed utility billing systems. And Craig, along with one of Mark's junior partners, were successful in being successful in both of those lawsuits, which was significant because those were very, very complicated issues. The 4th issue is still ongoing, is your ability to be able to cut deals and come up with workable terms with large industrial users and primarily other municipalities across the metro area. You know, we're the purveyor of water in central Oklahoma, and everybody has different concerns and dollar amounts and constraints, and you with Chris's team have been able to go in and come up with some, I think, very innovative and very positive solutions for dealing with all the different other, mostly governmental agencies, but also power plants and other things we've dealt with over the years. And the 5th one is the one that Mr. Stonecipher mentioned, was the lawsuit with the Native American tribes over the Sardis water, which went on for years, which was very complicated, very emotional, not so much on our side, but maybe on another side, but very, and it took a while, and we came up with, I think, which was just an extraordinary solution on that, which will, as Mark's pointed out, will serve us and our children forever. You know, when you say hi to Craig, you say, "Craig, how you doing?" He always says, "I'm causing trouble." And I will submit to you that he sometimes causes trouble, but more times than not, he abates trouble. And so, Craig, thank you for your years of service to the city of Oklahoma City. Thank you for taking on deep challenges, and thank you for being my friend.
No, my wife is going to come on Friday. If you're available, you're welcome to join us on Friday afternoon for my retirement party. My last day is actually January 2nd, but that's the day after everybody's off on Thursday. Nobody's going to be here. Except for me, I'll be here. So we decided to move that up earlier to not get in the way of other holiday plans and parties and the like. And I thank my office for helping to put that together. I'm so very thankful for having these opportunities. I feel very fortunate to have worked throughout my career with such talented and dedicated trustees, general managers, clients and coworkers, co-counsels, engineers and architects that make my work, my days very successful and things that I look forward to. As you can tell, I've been here a long time, before personal computers were invented, before fax machines, before emails, before Teams, and according to at least one entity, before the discovery of gravity. So there are so many stories that I could tell if I could remember them all, but probably not when we're being recorded. I also feel very blessed to have worked with the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust and to be part of its historic achievements, its many, many projects, the everyday challenges that we see, and the successes that we have that provide dependable, essential services to not just the city of Oklahoma City, but also to the central Oklahoma City area and the state of Oklahoma. Once again, I'd like to thank you for that. When I retire, I leave you in the capable hands of my brilliant co-counsels. I'm sure they'll serve you well. And may God bless you all, and I hope that I'll see you even after my retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Although we've already given the resolution to Craig, we should probably vote on it.
I tried.
Very good, and it passed. Next up is the approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from the November 18th meeting. Is there a motion for approval? All right, and it passes. Next up is the consent docket. A number of items on the consent docket. There's some engineering contract assignments, a number of change orders and amendments on the docket, and quite frankly, a surprising number since it's the meeting after a short week of Thanksgiving. So the staff did a good job. We get a lot on the agenda. Are there any items off the consent docket that the trustees would like to poll or discuss for individual consideration? Seeing none, is there a motion for approval? And it passes. Nothing on the concurrence docket. There is nothing on the, no emergency contracts today. Items for consideration, item 6A is a item ratifying and approving addendums and awarding a contract to McKee Utility Contractors for one of the segments of the Lake Atoka raw water line from Macomb to the Stanley Draper Reservoir. Larry.
It's about a 16.5-mile long segment from the Macomb Pump Station to Draper. It's 879-1 because this is in two phases. The second phase will be the outlet structure that will pour into the Lake Draper.
All right. They keep going. Any questions for Mr. Hare? Is there a motion for approval? And it passes. Item 6 has been stricken, or item 6B has been stricken. Item 6C is a resolution approving addendums, extending the time, and awarding a contract to Belt Construction for the Atoka raw water line from the segment of Highway 3 West to Macomb Pump Station for $52 million.
That's very true. This is this project
the
and
deferred
the
item.
other project, 879-1,
They requested
are the
a
last two segments of a pipeline project that we will be awarding for the second Atoka pipeline. This segment is about 12 and a half miles long.
Yeah, it says 1.4 on the agenda, but I thought it would be a tad longer than that. All right,
So this one we're striking?
no. We already struck B, this is C. Yeah.
So the item that was stricken was a deferred item from last week because we had independently put on a new item because we had to extend time for the award, so we put it on separately to C.
I would accept an amendment for C, but if we modify the item to include the correct length of it in its, how many miles?
About 12 and a half.
Okay.
What does it say? 1 point?
It says 1.44.
Accurate if you read it. It's 1.44 miles west of State Highway 3. That's
Oh, it was
just
1
that
point,
full location.
I'm sorry, okay. To Macomb Pump Station. Never mind, we can improve it as is.
Good deal.
And it passes.
Very good.
Any items from trustees this afternoon? All right. General Manager reports, Mr. Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lake level updates. So we're still in pretty good shape. If you recall last year, Hefner and Draper were 5-6 feet below full pull. This year they're 1.5 feet, so we're in really good shape. Canton is 3/4 of a foot above their full elevation. Atoka and McGee Creek are both about 4 feet below full, but we'll get plenty of rain this fall to fill them up. Again, I would like to thank staff. As the chairman indicated earlier, you know, it was a short week, and you guys still put a lot of stuff on there. So thank you for all of your hard work. Appreciate everything. And then finally, I would like to say a few words about my friend. The resolution was very abbreviated. You know, we could have written pages about the things that you've done. My first day on the job as the general manager, went to a meeting with all of my staff, and guess who was there? And I thought, gee, I need an attorney, a staff meeting, really? You know, he's been by my side ever since. There's never been a time that, you know, he doesn't, I say, Craig, I need to do, and he doesn't say, no, you can't. He says, here's how. Every time it's here's how. And he's always been by our side. I've never met anybody more dedicated or committed to an organization. He's just, you know, a person that I am so proud to call my friend and to have by my side the entire time. So thank you so much, and we're going to miss you. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, there's no further business before the trust, therefore, we are adjourned.